Let's make this Brutalism sports poster in Photoshop. The first thing we're gonna do is kind of map out our canvas, and Brutalism is a very gridded style, so we're basically gonna separate it into certain chunks and then fill those chunks with different elements. So I'm gonna start with like the main photo, and I'm gonna pull up my grids, Command apostrophe is a shortcut. We're gonna be working with our grids a lot for this design, and just starting from the top right corner, I'm gonna use this 2-box margin from the top and right side, as well as all the sides. I'm gonna draw out a box. Let's do 9.5 inches wide and 13.5 tall, just about. Can make that more precise. And then I'm really gonna line this up as close as possible with these grid lines, so it's perfectly sitting in that space. So the main image is gonna go here, then we'll have text on the left side. So let's make a new layer. We can even type out that text right off the bat. Type out Payne. We'll be using Xavier Payne of the Chicago Union as our subject for today. And I'm just gonna rotate this font so it's vertical. By the way, this font is called Microgramma Extended D. I think it's got a nice wide feel to it. I'm just gonna size this up so it is exactly in line with the top and bottom of our rectangle. And now between the text and the rectangle, let's leave about 1 box of space. So these boxes are separated into 1/2 inches. You can watch my video on grids, guides, and margins if you want to customize your grid lines, but I kind of have this default setup. By the way, the canvas size for this is 1080 by 1350. Standard vertical Instagram dimensions. So we've got the main text here. I'm gonna put a little bit of smaller text on this left side to get closer to that 2-box margin. So let's duplicate this Payne layer, move it up. We can shrink the font size down to like 20 or so for now. And let's type out Xavier Payne, Chicago Union, number 6. And I'm gonna add a bunch of spaces in between these descriptors to make it span the full height. Hitting space a bunch of times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we can also drag up the overall font size to kind of fill that remaining space. And again, pulling up my grids, let's just make sure this is that same 2-box margin and make sure it's fitting exactly that same height. You'll see there's a little bit too much space between Payne and these smaller text elements, so let's just transform Payne this way a bit. I'm generally not one to distort fonts like this, but I feel like as long as it doesn't look too warped, I'm good with it. I'm also gonna fill in these spaces with stars from the Chicago Union logo. So they've got a 6-pointed star seen in the Chicago flag. I'm just gonna size that down and drop it right in here. And we can make it fit perfectly just by bringing up our rectangular marquee tool. M is a shortcut. Drawing out a rectangle, then going back to your move tool and centering it vertically. And we can also make sure it's centered actually by holding Command and clicking on this T. You can select all this text and make sure it's centered horizontally as well. So duplicating that star, let's move it up, and again, bring out a rectangular marquee tool just to center it vertically in that space. So this is the main part of the composition. Let's start filling it in a little bit with this rectangle in particular. I'm also gonna change the colors. Let's change our background to black, just going to our fill tool and filling that with black. We can also change these star colors to match this pink. And if we don't wanna do the pink, you know, we can always change that later on. We're just gonna have that as a starting point. Also going to group some layers together. We'll call this group title, text, and we'll call this one main rectangle. Let's bring in a photo to fill this rectangle. I'm gonna use this action photo that I have of Xavier Payne and blow it up nice and big, even bigger than that. I wanna blow it up so we have like a little bit of his head and a little bit of the disc sticking out of this rectangle, which we can do by masking out the player. So this placement feels pretty good. Let's hit W for a quick selection. Click on select subject. That is gonna select Xavier Payne here. Let's click our mask icon. We don't have to be super precise with this masking. Normally I would refine the edges a bit, but since we're gonna use this gradient map effect over the whole thing, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now let's put a gradient map on our photo. So go to Image, Adjustments, Gradient Map, and we're gonna do a black to the same magenta to white, and we're just gonna bring these dials pretty close together. So we're getting almost like a threshold effect where there's not a whole lot of gradient flow going on. It's pretty like harsh separation. Now instead of this solid pink background, I'm gonna do kind of this wavy grid pattern. So to do that, let's hide all of our layers. Let's bring up our grids. And I'm just gonna take a screenshot right now, Command-Shift-4 on the Mac, and I'm just gonna draw out a screenshot around there, and then I'm gonna drag this screenshot back into our Photoshop file. And so now when I take the grids off, we're left with this grid pattern, which we can manipulate further by going to Image, Adjustments, Threshold. Just by dragging this dial to the left, we can get these like really solid grid lines. Yeah, threshold level 3. And we can drop these grid lines into our main rectangle folder. And now we have this white grid going behind our cutout. We can also drop a stroke around this whole shape. If we just go up to our main folder here, go to your effects, stroke, and for color, let's do the same. Pink. Honestly, we can change the grid to that pink too, just by going to our grid layer. I'm gonna drop a gradient map on it, and we'll just have it going from black to pink instead of white. Now we can manipulate it further by warping it. You can go up to Filter, Liquify, and do as you please with this grid, but if you just want to add some like interesting dimension, this is sort of a common look for Brutalism posters, but some sort of like distorted grid pattern, I think, looks pretty cool. It adds some depth. We've got the player cutout really like popping out from the grid background now. And if you look at our cutout, I'm noticing the edges aren't all the cleanest. So let's decrease those edges a little bit by going up to Filter, Other, Minimum, and something like, yeah, maybe 1.8 pixels feels about right. We can also clean up just the edge of this disc, make it feel a little bit more solid, more contrasty on the edges. I'm gonna size him up a little bit more, Command-T, and just bring him up to around there. And now we can pop out that disc and the top of his hat by duplicating this cutout layer. Just holding Option, you can click and drag a layer on top of this rectangle, so now it's separated from the rest of it. Now grouping this layer by itself, we can put a black mask on it by holding Option, clicking on the mask icon. That's hiding that full layer right now. Now if we paint back on with white, foreground colored white, you can just paint back on the specific parts you want popping out. We can start filling out this bottom space as well. I'm gonna drag in some new shapes. So let's start with square, just holding Shift with the rectangle tool. And again, I wanna pay attention to this bottom margin. So if we want exactly 2 boxes, let's go up to View, Guides, New Guide Layout, and just call the margin 1 inch on all sides. So right there, that's the line we want. And then you can shrink this down so it's maintaining that 1 box margin from the other elements. And you can even drag this out. So I know it's not a perfect square, but I'm guessing 3 inches is the move there. Let's duplicate that box. Let's make another one right next to it. Everything's nice and tidy in line. And then we'll have 2 boxes. We're gonna do a number 6 right here. So let's make a new layer and type out 6 in the same font. Blow it way up. So it is, again, perfectly in line with these other elements. And moving it over, sticking with the same 1 box. And now for this final space in the bottom right, we're gonna type out a bunch of text. So let's make a new text box. Again, pulling up what I need and sizing it like so. I'm just gonna type out some generic bio stuff for Xavier Payne. Really just filler text. And for this font, we're gonna switch it to Montserrat. We'll do Montserrat medium and can blow it up a little bit. I'm also gonna change the formatting. So we have this paragraph alignment. Let's make it the full justified. So it's going from edge to edge. Maybe we increase the space between letters a little bit too. So I think just playing with these settings until you find a layout that you like. Now with the number 6, just for fun, I'm gonna split it into like a 2-toned look. So let's duplicate the 6th layer, let's put a stroke on it. We're sticking with this 2-pixel stroke throughout this design. So one thing to know with Brutalism designs, you wanna be consistent with things like that. Line weights, text, all that stuff. So we've got a stroked one, and now this 6, I'm gonna use this pink color. Oh, and with the stroked one, you can drop the fill down to 0, so it's showing through. And now let's make a new layer just so I can get exactly half of this width. I'm going to draw out a box with the rectangular marquee tool. Let's just make it blue so we can see what we're doing. And then Command T, going up to your percentages up here, we can drop the width down to 50. So now we have a box that's like half the width of the 6. And this is what we're going to use to like cut up the 6. So just highlighting this box, holding Command, clicking on the thumbnail, and then clicking the mask icon on the number 6. Now we have half the 6 colored in, half of it is just stroked. If you want to switch to the other half, just invert the mask, Command I. Now we have it on the right side. Let's also make this text that same pink color as well. And then I think I'm going to change the pane text to white, really have it pop out alongside our cutout here. With Brutalism posters, I feel like you can either go with like a 2 or 3 color approach most of the time. So if we wanted to do a 2 color approach, I mean, we can throw on gradient maps at the end, but basically getting rid of the white and just doing black and pink, or black and blue, whatever color you want. But I like to have this pop of white. I think it helps accentuate certain elements. So that's what we're going with today. Now these 2 bottom left boxes, we're gonna fill with photos. So let's find those. This rectangle is gonna be photo 1. We'll make this one photo of the back of his jersey. Gonna position this so it fits nicely in that box. You can make a folder for this box, grouping these items together, Command clicking on the rectangle, and then masking out this folder. Same thing with box 2, folder, mask, and can drag in, what do we have? We have this face photo, a more normal looking face for Xavier Payne. So something around here. And I think I'm also gonna like pop out his head of that one too. I'm just gonna resize this back of jersey shot so that's really kind of the front and center focus. You can also turn it a little bit, slightly more aligned. And we can apply the same gradient map to these photos. We can take it from our main rectangle. Right now it's on this image as a smart filter. So you can just hold Option, click and drag the smart filter, and then apply it to this back photo, and then take the same thing and apply it to the face photo. And now we've lost kind of the border here, so let's add that back in. I'm going to take the same stroke that we have on the main rectangle, again holding Option, clicking and dragging the stroke effect to our corresponding rectangle folders to keep that same type of stroke on both images. Now let's see what it looks like if we do pop out the top of his hat from this one too. So I'm just going to select subject again from the quick selection tool, and same as before, grouping this into its own folder, hiding this whole thing with an inverted mask by holding Option, clicking on your mask, and then just brushing back in the hat. Let's group all of these elements into a folder and call it bottom. Just want to make sure I got everything. Bottom. Now a couple more elements before we get into the finishing effects. I'm going to add this Dolby Digital PNG into the top right corner. There's often little like elements like this in Brutalism posters. So you might see like a Dolby Digital thing. You might see a barcode. Just little bits of intrigue for the corners I think can help. And I'm going to take away some of this grid pattern so it's just on a black background. To do that, we can make a new layer on top of our grid and just take a black brush, honestly. Like you can start, that's a white brush. You can start painting out some of this stuff and just clearing space for more elements. Or if you want to be more precise about it, you can take a rectangular marquee tool, make it like a proper, evenly spaced rectangle mask sort of thing. So let's have Dolby Digital there. Let's also make a little kind of text nod to his name, XP6. We'll use the Microgramma extended font again. And let's blow this up so it's the same height as Dolby Digital. Then move it over. And I'm actually wondering if it might make more sense if this like replaced this corner. So let's take these 2 elements, group them, we'll call it top right. And like, what if we just got rid of this stroke, and instead of blacking out the inside of the shape, what if we just took a new layer on top of the whole rectangle? And again, taking our rectangular marquee tool and just filling this with black. Maybe that's a cleaner look, especially if we take that same color that we've been using, this pink, and kind of make it blend into this grid and the stroke. Now for some finishing effects, let's get into our textures. I'm gonna make a new folder, call it finishing, and let's start with this wall texture. I've got it in black right now, but we can also use the inverted version. So let's size this about there and change the blend mode to, I think, screen or lighter color actually is pretty good. Make sure it's in our folder. We can double click this, and just for blending purposes, taking out some of those like darker tones and just making sure the white is showing through. You can do that by separating these dials. Holding Option is the way to initially separate it, and you can play with these as you need to. Now if we duplicate this wall texture, just Command J and then invert it, Command I. Now we have a white, mostly white texture with black specks on it. Change the blend mode to multiply, and you'll see it's now showing up on the white parts. Before we didn't have any texture on the white, now we do, and we can do the same type of blending just to make sure there isn't much overlap between the textures. And we can play with the opacity of these too, just dropping them down so it's a little bit more subtle of an effect. Now we're going to take this image and apply it to its own layer. So making a new layer, Command Option Shift E, and then let's convert this for smart filters. And now we're going to distort this whole thing a little bit by going into Filter, Distort, Displace. You can set these horizontal scale and vertical scales to any number you want, just see what the effect is. This is when we can take a texture and make the image imitate it in a certain way. So let's take 3 and 3, and then when you hit OK, it's gonna have you select a PSD file. So we can go into our folder and click on this wall PSD, which is just that same wall texture. I just saved it as a Photoshop file. You can apply it, and you'll see it just kind of gave us this like little bit of kind of artifacting and imperfection around these lines. Made the whole thing a little bit rougher and kind of more in line with the texture we gave it. So now on top of this, we could add some grain and some other effects. Going up to Filter, Camera Raw Filter, can bring in some texture and clarity. Just see what that does. Obviously brings in some more of that texture. Grain, you can add maybe something like 40-ish. And then you can also take a curves layer and bring up this black point, make it more of a matte finish or like a dark gray. And this is really completely up to you, honestly. You can also play with the colors. You know, if we hit OK from there, if you go to your adjustment layers, hue and saturation, this would be the best way to change the color of this. Really just playing with this slider and seeing whatever you like better. The key was just keeping the color consistent the whole time. So now when we change it, we're changing it for the entire design. So this is what more saturated blue would look like. We're gonna stop here for the day. That is our finished Brutalism sports poster. I think this Brutalism style is relatively untapped as far as sports design goes, so I'm interested to continue experimenting with it. Had a good time playing with it during my 30-day design challenge I did a while back. Still relatively new to the style. I still think there's a lot of like different corner elements and different types of shapes that you can play with. But hopefully this video gave you a sense of the process of just kind of laying out your grid, mapping out the composition, and then filling in those different spaces with whatever elements you want. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.